Thanks for joining us at 9. I'm Mark McPherson. Fitchburg residents are frustrated. They're voicing concerns over a vehicle registration fee known as a wheel tax that was approved just yesterday. WMTV's Shana Najawan joins us now. And Shana, the decision comes just months after a November referendum failed to pass a similar measure.
That's right. And now city officials say the $40 annual vehicle fee is a necessary step to help Fitchburg maintain services amid rising costs and a growing population. District 3 Alder Donald Danzler, who voted in favor of the tax, admits it was a tough call. He recognizes the added burden on residents, but says without this measure, essential services like transportation, police, and fire could suffer. Danzler also pushed back on criticism that the tax was rushed through, saying the proposal was discussed in multiple meetings, available on the city website, and that council members received public feedback ahead of the vote.
I do want folks to know that this council is not in the business of recklessly spending. We're not trying to further disadvantage those individuals who are disadvantaged, but trying to meet the needs of a growing and thriving municipality and do the best with the resources that we're able to obtain.
Danzler is also calling on Wisconsin residents to urge state lawmakers to provide more municipal support from the state's budget surplus. He emphasized that Fitchburg isn't alone. Many other municipalities are also facing financial pressures and need additional state funding to avoid raising local taxes. Live in the studio, Shana Najawan, WMTV 15 News.
Shana, thank you. The $1 million generated by the tax is expected to primarily cover transportation costs, with other funds freed up for law enforcement and operational needs.